Thing of the week, thing of the week, it's your ink thing of the week. Yeah. Hey there. Most people are pretty happy with the stylus that comes with their device, whether it's books, Remarkable, Supernote, and I could go on and on. But there are some people that look outside for something that fits them a little bit better. And there's a number of popular models along those lines. For example, the Lamney All-Star is one example of that, and so is the Wacom One. But there's another really major player that most people consider with high regard. And it's actually a stylus that I've avoided for a long time. But I finally broke down, bought it, and we'll be talking about that today. I'm talking, of course, about the Staedtler Noris Digital Jumbo. This is a very interesting device, and I hope to talk to it and let you know about all the interesting and cool features about it in this short little video. Let's take a look. So let's start off with why I've kind of avoided this for as long as I have, and it's really for silly reasons in retrospect, but everyone else that I was following on the internet or reading on Reddit was just promoting this as one of their all-time favorites, and yet I was reluctant to do that. And the reason why is I never saw any reviewer actually hold it in their hand. All I saw were these pictures, kind of like the picture on the box that we just showed a second ago. And so what I thought is, well, that's a really neat design, but I don't want an oversized stylus. In other words, I thought the word jumbo in the title meant that it was a thicker stylus and a more comical in nature. And that's actually not the case at all. In fact, this is it right here. And if anything, it's actually quite small. If I compare that here, we've got the Remarkable stylus, which I'll put on top. You can see they're lined up. The Remarkable is much longer. If we take one of the Books' popular styli and highlight it there, you can see the Books one is also longer. The Jumbo is actually a little bit smaller than most styli. So it was the exact opposite of what I thought it might be. But that's literally what kept me from buying it all these years. If someone had just held it up like I'm doing now to get a real perspective on the size of it, I wouldn't have been so reluctant. But that's not the only surprise with this stylus. There's also some interesting textures going on with this thing. First off, we'll talk about the shaft and the grip. What I should point out is this is not a circular stylus like the other two that I just showed. This is actually a triangle shape. And every black side of the stylus is actually that flat side, and the yellow is kind of the point of that triangle. So it's that alone kind of gives it an interesting grip. But also the texture of the plastic, particularly the black strip, is very kind of soft. So it's interesting. In addition to that, the eraser feature and this is an eraser on the top, is also soft. It's no question that it's plastic, but it is reminiscent of an actual rubber eraser. You get a little bit of that texture feel when you touch it. And I should point out there's not a lot of give with the eraser. So the eraser function does not require you to press in to use it. You just need to touch the screen lightly in order for that to activate. The last thing I'll talk about in terms of texture is actually the end of the stylus. And it's interesting, it's supposed to look like a pencil, but the feel of it is not like a pencil at all, except for a little bit here on one end with the eraser, and then definitely here on what is the simulated shaved part of the stylus, right? If this was a pencil, that would be the shaved area of the pencil. And that texture feels very close to what a pencil feels like, especially a smoothly shaven pencil. So it's a very interesting effect. There's all sorts of textures from one end to the other, and you just don't see that with styluses. And so not only does this have this kind of motif of trying to look like a pencil, but it has a lot of feedback and interesting textures just gripping onto it and touching it. So very interesting. Now, how does the stylus itself work? That also is interesting. The stylus itself, when you write, actually creates a very soft writing experience. I'm going to hold the 3C up to the microphone and write with this and with Books' stylus and see if we can hear that difference. All right, so I've got the 3C here in hand, and I'm just going to scribble across the screen, and we'll start with the stylus that came with it. And so we'll just see if we can hear what that sounds like. Okay, but let's compare that to the Noris and what that sounds like. Very different, very subtle. I'm not even sure the microphone will pick it up, but there is a subtle, little bit of a scratchy sound. But what you really feel and hear is mostly a sense of softness, very soft against the screen as you're writing and not making much sound, as opposed to the very scratchy effect that we had from the book's stylus. So very unique, and I've never known a stylus quite to be that quiet as the Noris Jumbo. Real quickly regarding the eraser, I've made these scribbles, and I've gone ahead and put the setting to this thing called the mobile eraser, and I've set it to the largest setting. So we'll go ahead and take a look and see what that looks like. Okay, so it definitely works. It does grip the screen quite a bit, even though you don't have to put too much pressure on it to work. So that's one of the things I do notice about it. And I'm not generally a fan of using erasers at the end of a stylus, which I know a lot of people are. But I do find even with that bias against using an eraser, I do find this grips a bit more than I would otherwise would like. Okay, so to finish this all off, this package does come with 5 nibs and of course a replacement tool. So that's a pretty good deal. I was able to purchase this off of Amazon for about $36 if I remember correctly. So that's not too bad for a stylus. So that basically is pretty much everything you need to know. So given all that, what do I feel now that I've had a chance to work with the Staedtler Noris Jumbo? Would I recommend this stylus to other people? Well, I can say on a personal basis, I don't care for it. I don't like how soft and quiet it sounds. I don't really take advantage of the eraser. I appreciate the aesthetic of the device, but it's not necessarily something I want to use on a day-to-day basis. But having said all that, I completely understand why there's people out there that love this stylus, because there's just a lot going on that's right. It is a very interesting design. It's got the different tactile feels. And if you want a quieter, stylus, then this is the best one on the market then, because I don't think there's any stylus that is as quiet as this one is. So I completely understand why people love it. It's just not for me personally. So hopefully I've shared enough of it so that you can know whether this is a good stylus for you or not. And certainly the quality is there, no question about it. It's just not my style. Anyway, that is the Staedtler Noris Jumbo. Now that I finally have one and reviewed one, I think I can stamp my card as an internet e-ink reviewer. I think this was the last thing I needed to check off to meet the basic requirements. So mission accomplished. And until next time, I hope you guys have a great day.